Welcome to Around the Horn at FantasyAlarm.com. I'm your host, Ray Flowers. Friday the 13th, happy Friday the 13th, if that's the right thing you say. I'm not even sure if it is, but happy Friday the 13th if it is. A scary situation, or many scary situations on the hill, is what we're going to start off here on the Around the Horn. First of all, we've got Masahiro Tanaka. He's got a partially torn UCL. When the UCL goes, what do? You have Tommy John surgery. Tanaka goes out, throws 94 miles an hour. Everyone's excited. This is positive news for Tanaka. Obviously, if he's throwing 94 miles an hour, his arm is in good shape, but it's not really in good shape, and that's something that has to be remembered here. Tanaka is going to need Tommy John surgery at some point. It might be next week, it might be next month, it might be next year, but the fact is he will need that at some point. So be very careful if you roster Tanaka, even with this good showing. Even if he proves in spring training he looks great, that thing could still go at any moment. If you roster Tanaka, make sure you have depth at that position. Get other starting pitchers because you probably are going to need them at some point. Don't take these positive outings as a sign that there's no concern. There is still big-time concern with the Yankees hurler. Bigger concern with the Rangers hurler. Darvish, done for 2015. The team has made the decision that he needs Tommy John surgery, so his season is over. He may even miss the start of 2016 because of this issue. So this throws his keeper dynasty league outlook into disarray, to be quite honest with you, because again, he's out for 2015. We don't know how much time he misses in 2016. How much he produces in 2016 is also an open question. He's been very good when he's been on the hill for the Rangers, but he's been hurt an awful lot, and that's a concern as we start moving forward and he starts aging here. He's done for 2015. We'll have to see what it means for his future. Garrett Richards, positive news. He's about 10 days away, they think, from getting on the hill in a game. Things are progressing very well for him coming back from his knee issue. Now, the team hopes mid-April he'll be back on the hill in game action, and maybe he does do that. And again, Richards was great last year. His ERA and WHIP were really low, especially for the American League. They were elite-level numbers. Strikeout and inning, tons of ground balls. A lot to like there. But I worry about how he'll do later in the year. Richards, obviously, because of the knee surgery, was unable to train as he usually does in the offseason. Is that going to show itself later in the year? Is his body going to wear down a bit because he doesn't have the stamina and the strength and all of that built up because he was unable to train normally during the offseason? We'll have to see. Richards is moving up draft boards, but I would advise people some caution still. Long way to go before he's back to being the pitcher that we saw last season. Omar Infante. Yeah, Omar Infante. Got an issue with his elbow. It's been going on for a while now. He basically came out and said, I'm going to have surgery at some point. I've got bone spurs in there. Now, the good news for Infante and the Royals at this time is that he thinks he can play through this. He's hoping that he can avoid the surgery till the end of the 2015 season. Obviously not good news if it's bothering him at this point. Bone spurs can move around, so it could be in a situation where it slides a little bit in one direction. He's totally fine for the season. It could slide a little bit in the other direction, and it could tear the ligament. It could cause all kinds of problems, so it's really uncertain where Infante is going to be in terms of his workload. He's not a mixed league option anyway, so not much to worry about there. AL-only leaguers, though, you want to be very careful about rostering him as anything more than a middle infielder because we just don't know how long he's going to be able to stay on the field and be healthy for the Royals. Nick Markakis, we don't know how long he's going to be out, but it looks like he will miss the start of the season for the Braves. He's got that neck issue that needed surgery. This is not necessarily a setback per se. It's just he's not quite ready in his recovery from the surgery. So Markakis, who goes from the Orioles to his hometown team in Atlanta to play for the Braves, will start his career almost certainly on the disabled list for the Braves. A solid big leaguer. He's actually a better real-world player than he is a fantasy player. Mixed leaguers, really tough to even draft him at this point. I mean, yeah, you don't want to spend a 25th round draft pick on him, go for it. But you can't be looking at him as a starter, even if you're going with 5 guys in the outfield. And only leaguers, invest. Good player, but be careful. The neck issue could not only make him start the season late, but it could impact his performance in 2015. What do the Rockies do in the 9th inning? Well, now they're turning to LaTroy Hawkins, and Hawkins is old. Doesn't strike anyone out. Doesn't profile very well, but he's had success in the 9th inning, including last season, so the Rockies are going to go with him. Now, he could get traded. That's always a possibility. If he's traded, he probably goes to a setup role, but he could be dealt. He might stay there. He might have success. He might not. He might just lose it. He's over 40 years old, and he doesn't have great stuff to start with. So knowing who the backup with the Rockies is in the 9th inning is a very valuable piece of information. And manager Walt Weiss came out today and said it's not Rex Brothers. It's Adam Ottavino that would step in. And not only will Adam Ottavino potentially be the option if the team loses Hawkins to injury or to a trade, Weiss said, look, I got no problem throwing him out there when Hawkins needs a rest. So Adam Ottavino is now someone that has to be looked at, even in mixed leagues, if you're talking the reserve rounds in terms of grabbing an arm. 3.6 ERA, 1.28 WHIP last season for Ottavino, more than a strikeout an inning. Not a guy that's setting the world on fire, but a nice arm for the Rockies. The Royals, Brandon Finnegan, a great young prospect. We saw him last year in the playoffs, have all kinds of success. He wants to be a starter. I think the Royals want him to be a starter, but he might need to be in the bullpen this season. Tim Collins recently, a lefty as well, had to have Tommy John surgery, so the Royals really need that lefty in the bullpen. So they're going to give Finnegan a couple more outings in spring before they make the determination of whether they're going to use him in the bullpen or use him as a starter. I would have to think at this point they use him as a reliever because they really need that. They really need to have that lefty arm in the pen. This news is big in AL-only leagues. Doesn't matter much in mixed leagues. You're probably not drafting Finnegan anyway. But in AL-only leagues, whether he's throwing 70 innings out of the bullpen or 170 as a starter, obviously keep a close eye on what's going on there. A big arm should have lots of success when given the opportunity, no matter what the role is. And then finally, let's give some props to Will Ferrell. He went out there, played for 10 teams, 10 positions in Arizona. Great thing. He's raising money for cancer and all that, filming I guess a video as well around that. He's at the park. He struck out as a batter. He made some decent plays in the outfield, getting the ball back into the infield. A decent athlete, didn't embarrass himself out there, which is a positive. But brought a lot of joy to everyone out there at spring training. They sold more tickets than they normally did because of his exploits. He's flying around in a helicopter if you didn't see it. I'll put a link here below the video so you can get a little bit more of that. But tip of the cap to the semi-pro. Yeah, I said semi-pro. I know of all the movies, I probably should have said Anchorman or Talladega Nights. I went semi-pro because it's a sports movie. But tip of the cap to Will Ferrell for helping out cancer research as well as giving everyone a little bit to smile about here in spring training. Happy, again, Friday the 13th. Fantasy Alarm, Ray Flowers, Around the Horn. Have a good weekend. Talk to y'all again soon.